Yo, yo, yo. Happy, beautiful New Year to you all. Welcome to the Royal Honey Podcast. So today, what we're talking about, we're just munching and crunching. But on episode 2, this is about just our experiences with glitches in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Like, personally, I've seen them. She's also seen them.
And we've been together through a lot of them. Like, we've just seen, like, oddities, is that
Just
what it's
weird
called?
things.
Yeah.
Things that only happen whenever we're together.
Mm-hmm.
And we notice them together. Almost like the universe is like
Like a sign or something.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like the good omens, like obviously omens, but then there's just straight up weird stuff. Like I remember, because we made the intention of this video, we wanted to talk about the time we were out and about and we saw this couple
Mm-hmm.
that they weren't jogging, they were literally at an intersection. One lady had her arm like this and the other guy was like looking off, but they were like completely frozen. We were in the car, so we didn't have enough time to actually like record it or
Like, we just drove by and we're like, looked at each other, we're like, yeah, it's a little odd, like, they're a little too still.
yeah. So while everything else around them was moving.
Yeah, it was like a busy day that day.
Yeah, it was like they weren't. She was like this,
Mm-hmm.
like frozen, like. But again, I've seen those TikTok videos
Mm-hmm.
where people are frozen,
And the airplanes, you said.
airplanes frozen,
Inside.
birds frozen, cars frozen,
Right.
things that just don't make sense. So these glitches.
That kind of just proves that that we're in a simulation,
Yeah, or
quote unquote, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, some type of reality that is not necessarily the reality that we think it is,
Gotcha.
or have been told that it is.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not only happening to us, but it's happening to millions of people all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't, like, if it was just happening to us, kind of far-fetched to think that it's real, but it's happening a
You
lot.
can have speculation.
Right. But yeah. And then, what? The time that we were in this, like, pond area.
Yeah, we
in
were
the
walking.
restaurant.
Yeah, walking around the pond.
Yeah, like this little pond area. That's pretty big, but yeah, it's really big actually. But out of everywhere that it could have been, it showed right next to us, and it was like this, like 20, 30-pound fish.
Honestly, we don't know what it was because this pond didn't have any like koi fish or anything like that. It
Right.
didn't have anything like that. But
Just right next to us, we're like,
it was this fish that was like golden and like white spots, black spots.
mm-hmm.
But it's the only one of its kind. It just didn't look like anything we'd ever seen. And I had been to that area in that pond
many times before.
many times in my life,
Mm-hmm.
in adolescence, and I've never seen that type of fish.
I just remember it being so huge. I was like, what in the, like, I've never seen that
Like
before.
like the biggest goldfish you've ever seen.
Right? Like, a little on the scary side. But I'm scared about things, so.
She didn't.
No,
And I have to reassure.
Mm,
But some things you just gotta be like, oh, that's different.
a lot of things I think is spook. That's why, like, I haven't seen any, like, reptilians or anything like that, because me and Ruth be like, oh yeah, she'd be spooked.
Yeah, I've seen reptilians before. I can be the one to actually stay on camera that I've seen them before. This was back in my quote unquote party times.
Yeah.
But I've been very attuned and open to those experiences my whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
From like that type of space. And I remember being at this nightclub and it was a couple and they walked up and their energy was just weird. It was like not bad or
you just felt it instantly.
Yeah, it was just different energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I just remember seeing them shift, like their skin turned like this green color, like as the lights were like shining on them. I remember seeing like their scaly stuff underneath their skin, and I didn't even freak out. It wasn't even something where I'm like, oh, reptilians, like, because again, I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that stuff. And I was just like, okay, and I had a conversation with them, but the conversation was weird. They were both like just energetically just different.
What, like not there or
just different? But the segue or the person that the interim Alan was there. Older Alan.
Oh, older Alan.
Yeah, was there. So he, knew them or was with them at the time. So I'm not sure, but they were just different.
Yeah.
And they knew that I saw them too.
Is that why they, were like a little?
I'm not sure, but I know that they knew that I knew what they were.
I would have been spooked if I was there.
Yeah, but there's so many different beings and so many different things like all around us. We just, again, humans only see in a certain light spectrum. So if you have the technology to be able to hide within certain light spectrums, even like cloaking devices and things like that, from planes and things I've heard of, where like they take the image, they take a camera of like a stealth flight or plane, has a camera on top of it, takes a picture, gets like the picture of the sky above it, and reflects it underneath it.
So it looks appears, that it's not there.
That's dope. Yeah, especially if you're talking about something that's hella high up, like you ain't gonna see that shit.
Right. But why?
See, anytime somebody says why, my answer is why not?
Yeah, I guess. I'm just wondering, because people, I don't know.
I'll say why not, but I was having a discussion with someone about like robots and AI and all that stuff too. And they were just like, aren't you scared? Like a dystopian, like Terminator type future? It's just like, not at all. Like, because I see the benefit of having machines help. Like, as long as it's for the betterment and to aid in to making life easier,
right,
for humans.
I mean, of course.
Not just full blown out laziness. Like that fucking.
Yeah, people will take it that way.
Oh yeah, like
Wall-E.
Like that fucking thing, that stick thing to pick up things.
Oh.
No, that's laziness. That's when it started. Oh, I can't use the remote. Let me take this stick. And your ass can get up. You can get up.
Yeah, I know. But remember the movie Wall-E, where they're like literally just sitting in their chairs, not moving at all.
Yeah, that's what most people are scared of. But also, I feel like that's also subconscious programming or subliminal programming that's trying to push a narrative that doesn't necessarily have to exist.
Right. I don't worry too much about it because I don't think that'll affect us like that. Well, we wouldn't allow it to.
Facts.
So.
What else have we seen? Like, because we've seen so many things, but those are just the prominent ones that stand out.
Right, they will. What was that one time in LA after we got tacos and we saw that one guy DJing on like a few floors up? Remember with the Lola 55s to eat?
Oh, in San Diego?
Yeah.
It was like that,
They said LA.
I think you said LA. That was in San Diego when we went to that taco spot.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were having like a house party with house music.
But we don't even know if there was people. I just know it was like a DJ. I don't know, but...
Yeah, there was no way to get into the building.
Yeah, like, at all. And then, like, it just, like, kind of dissipated. I don't know. I just feel like it just existed in that moment.
Yeah.
Of course, like, how things are, but we just run into stuff like that a lot.
I feel like the more open you are to having those type of experiences happen, the more you see that they're always happening around you anyway. Like, that's from my personal experience.
Right.
Because me and you, we're just open people, so things just happen around us all the time. The spiritual space, I know, whenever I've had those experiences of astral travel, I was telling you about, like, leaving my body, leaving my vehicle. But then the most recent one I told you about in that journal, where, it was, I actually saw my body laying down. I was like, oh, snaps, which was the first time I ever saw my body. But then there was a time where I actually entered another vehicle or body, and I knew I was conscious just like I am now, and I was looking at my hands, and I was like, yo, this is not my body. And, like, in that space and in that realm, everything is known. So, like, entities that may seem separate from us here, like, they're known in that realm immediately. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, hey. Like, And I remember it was Marshall there energetically, and he was like, yo, that's how these things work. That's when I was like, yo, and it was right before we went to Envision.
Gotcha.
It was right between that time. And to access that, I still remember that all I did was meditate, and then I took like a nap or something like that, so I was already in that space of trance.
Yes.
But yeah, I've personally had some very, very deep spiritual experiences, but I've also volunteered myself to have those experiences, like just full blown out, like DMT sessions with myself and meditating for 3 hours under a tree while doing psychedelic mushrooms and a little extra ketamine, all types of stuff. Like, I'm like, this is a safe space. Like, I've done a lot to, really push the boundaries of myself, not to just see things weird or see trees moving and stuff, but to really delve into my being and expand my consciousness to a place to where it is now, to where I don't need any of that stuff. And I'm just hyper aware, and I'm able to see, which is a blessing. Because all that stuff is medicine. It's not something to abuse. Marijuana, it's all medicine. So, yeah, this world it's incredible. It's a lot of goofy stuff at times, but 2024 is just this new age, a new space, and me and my love here, we know that there's been a split.
Oh yeah, what we've seen in the universe happen and what is in our sphere, it's like completely different.
What is that? Is it cheese?
No, you enjoy it. It's spicy. That cheese is spicy. But like how we've seen like stuff on what like people are projecting out, like on the news, articles, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or like, that's like real like peculiar and like not so our lives, because on the opposite side of that split, where the split is like we're doing great, we're healthy, we're not seeing any storms, any whatever that's happening on the news. So
it feels like TikTok.
Right.
Yeah, like,
and it just feels like we're in a whole different universe.
A completely different universe to add to what you're saying. Absolutely. Like, I personally feel like, yeah, like even things that I've seen on like the TikTok reels and all that stuff, it's just like, where is that stuff happening at?
Right.
Being right here, yet so far away from that. And we've experienced that too, just like traveling places, like where we could be in the same space as other people and have a completely different experience.
Right. Like people will be like, oh, that's so dangerous, how'd you guys look? And when we had an incredible time, like nothing scary happened or whatever, that's happened in multiple spots.
Yeah.
Because we just don't live in that universe. So.
We don't live in that thought.
Yeah.
That's why thoughts are very important. Thoughts, the mind is so powerful, and it's one of those things that through my journey, just your mindset, my personal mindset has blessed me in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
To accomplish the things that I've accomplished, but also to meet the people that I've met and to have those beautiful experiences that I've had and also that we've had together and been able to share together. So the mind is very, very powerful.
It is.
What you think you become, and that is serious. But I feel like now the becoming has already became. So now I feel like it's no longer you have to constantly say affirmations. You have to constantly do all that stuff, because I really feel like that stuff is a part.
Like you are that.
You already are that.
Yeah.
And you always have been that. But the older paradigm, like the previous years or the previous time, was just coming back to that space of remembrance.
Right.
And knowingness. And now we're in the space of knowing and the age of knowing.
And we are.
And being.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Just because, like, in my mind and thought process of things has completely changed, and I feel like the way that I feel, like, that I know that it changed is, like, less stress and less, like, worry about things.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't worry about things anymore when you have a total, like, mind change, because you always put things in other perspective, like, oh, that just, like, that doesn't, like, the outwardly things that used to affect me as a person, like, doesn't affect me anymore, because I'm just like, that doesn't associate with me, you know?
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's a big thing, just separate yourself with, like, things that people or the news is feeding you or whatever it is.
Yeah, because you don't have to choose that narrative.
Right.
That it's a choice, and that's also something that I've realized is the amount of choices in a day that we are given, and each choice that we make pushes us into a different reality. And each choice that we don't make also pushes us into a reality. Like, so it's just constant realities on top of realities, ever unfolding all the time. And yeah, so the amount of choices, like going to the fridge, not going to the fridge, you know, and each is like aligned with whatever reality that you visualize most. From my personal experience, so, you know, even visualization, which I feel like has served in a certain extent for me, has, like, nothing I ever visualized was even equivalent to the experience that was manifested. Like, the manifested or universal experience was always greater and more profound.
Yeah, and I feel like it's always like that, because that feeling inside, it just always feels better, you know?
Because you just let go. Yeah, we've split, and I feel like if you're watching this right now, you've split too. You've definitely joined us on this split, because like attracts like. You wouldn't even be watching this video if you weren't on the frequency to understand or grasp what we're talking about, and knowing that we're in that new space and that new reality now. And yeah, things might look the same, but they're completely different. And I've been reminded just through meditations and stuff, just to pay attention and observe all of the new things that are around, because those are reflections of those changes. Just even with our daughter, like, that's the newest thing that constantly is evolving in front of us, to let us know how new everything really is. So.
And even crazier to me to think about is, like, from her perspective, like, everything is literally so new. Like, she has no idea, like, pretend she's never seen a pencil before. Like, that's her first time ever seeing a pencil, you know? Right?
Yeah.
That's how she is. She is excited over everything she sees, and I love it.
Absolutely. It's the greatest. And it reminds you, you know, how beautiful things really are.
Yeah, and how special things are. Little, small, or little, big, you know?
I feel like it goes back to what we were talking about last night, or what I was explaining last night, just in terms of like our realities being in the now. Like this now reality is the only reality that exists.
Right.
And I feel like children are, especially babies, are still tapped into that awareness of the nowness and that presentness of life.
Right.
So like, to look at something for the first time is to look at something for the first time. It may look the same, but nothing is the same. Like,
you haven't seen it laying that way or in that position or whatever the case is.
Like every time we come home, yeah, it may look the same, but it's not the same home because we're different.
Yeah.
And even if it's in a microscopic way, we're different to that level. And with being different, we create a different reality. And it's just like The Sims or Save the Game. We just save this portion of whatever our lives or aspects are to experience them again. But it's just like, because if things were the same, you wouldn't need to get an oil change. You wouldn't need to, like, things are constantly changing.
Right.
But at the same time, they aren't. It's the weirdest shit ever.
I know, and it's like, it always puts, like I told you last night, puts my mind in the loop.
Yeah, everything is and isn't.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I'm just like, ooh.
Didn't we watch that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Mm-hmm.
Then we watched that together. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Because the thing is, there's no real way to explain it.
Right.
You can it just is.
Yeah.
You can't explain it. Because even trying to explain it, you get caught up in that loop. Like,
oh yeah, my mind goes into a
loop,
right? Because that's what it is, though. It's a loop. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes it just doesn't need to be said. Mm-hmm. Certain things, What's
understood doesn't need to be explained.
Yeah, exactly.
Just know it, understand it,
and however you understand it too, doesn't mean it's wrong.
There's nothing wrong about anything.
Yeah.
The isness of everything is correct. Mm-hmm. Just like Neville Goddard stated, like, life is already complete. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing quote unquote wrong. What's wrong is the perception that there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. Right yourself to know that the universe is right. Like, yeah, there's so many things that can be perceived as this or that, but that's also from a place of separation and illusion, or like just old consciousness. Like the yin and yang. I had this profound, it was profound yet so simple, this profound epiphany, if I guess you would call it. It's like, you focus on the yin and yang, it's like, what do you see? You see the white or the black space. But the most important space of all is the fact that it's the circle that those two things are encompassed in. Mm. It's not the opposites, it's the circle, which is, the circle is all things. It's God, the divine, all. It's that. And within that is the quote unquote duality of polarity, or left and right, black, white, in and out, right, wrong. But and the whole is there is no such thing as that, because you need the one to have the other. Like, you need the sunshine to know what a nighttime, like, night sky is. Like, you need a sunny sky to know. You need rain to know what a clear sky is. Like, you need,
I think that's what the meaning is.
Yeah, those
and stuff.
Yeah. But see, most people see it as just like the checkerboard. It's the same thing. The checkerboard isn't this or the other. Mm-hmm. It's the square that encompasses it of life itself, because those, circumstances are. It's what life is. So that's true. That is true bliss. That's true beingness. Because you can't call it good and bad. Like, it's just isness. It just is. Like, yeah.
It is.
It is. As is all things. As above, so below. As within, so without. just is.
Mm.
I am as everything is around me. Everything is around me as I am. Like, ooh, did I hit the mic? I might have did. But yeah, it's deep, deep.
It is.
But yeah, we just wanted to make a video for you guys just to say happy New Year. Welcoming 2024 in with big smiles, big love, and just overall massive abundance and beautiful circumstances to you and your families, and wishing you nothing but the best creative reality experiences and so forth throughout this beautiful new year. We will continue to make content. We will continue to grow. And again, our little one is sleeping right now, so
she's having good dreams.
She's having really good dreams. But was there anything else you would like to add before we close?
No, I don't think so. Just, I'm glad to be here, chatting with my love and sharing it. It's enjoyable, and I'm glad that we get to start the new year fresh and starting this. So.
Beautiful, yeah. Likewise. Well, this is our video. Thank you for watching the Royal Honey Podcast, episode 2. Dose, peace, and love.
Peace and love.
Namaste.
Yeah, you have to. Oh shit! Oh.